you're gonna survive. You don't care.
Babe, I'm more worried about this kind of stuff than I am anything else.
Give me a fucking break, because the reason this is happening, if you haven't figured that out yet.
What is the reason?
Better.
No, I don't think this is good.
Say, take a toke of this joint.
Yeah.
Calm down. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. You let me stand here and hit myself and yell and go crazy.
I'm responsible for that now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
I love this.
Because I would take a toke of a joint now and feel better. And
I'd
stop
take a
yelling
toke
and
of a
screaming.
joint now, dude. I don't want to fucking put up with this shit. It's easier to give somebody who's crazy what they want, okay? It's easier.
It's medication.
In the short term,
I'm not
but in the
buying
long
your
run,
shit
it doesn't
when you're
help
eat-
shit,
when you're
man.
When you're eating handfuls of pills, huh?
Yeah, I'm eating
And you
handfuls
can't
of
go
pills,
for the afternoon
and they're all
without taking
prescribed,
them. I'm not
and
buying
they're
it,
all
bud.
legal, and they
And
are
you're worried
being
because I'm missing part
monitored
of
by
brain
my
that marijuana
doctors.
is gonna hurt me.
And guess what? I told you this morning, I am taking my own will and saying I'm cutting down my meds.
Wow, you're cutting down.
Yes, far less than half. So let's hope I can damn do it with a fucking crazy person in my environment.
Well, you're the crazy one because you think you control.
I am crazy.
everything.
I don't think I'm not fucking crazy. Everybody who knows me knows I am. I live with you.
You're crazy enough to be a fucking medical.
And I don't mean that I'm not crazy
You're gonna
without
make me
you.
go and
I mean
actually
that
have them
it's
say
fucking
that,
obvious
and then
I'm crazy.
They're gonna say, "Yeah, Darren, we'll green light you." Oh, Jody needs you to stick your head in a big machine. Well, that's none of our
Yeah,
business.
you're missing part of your brain,
No,
and I hate
Darren,
it,
we're not
but you
gonna
are.
make you do that,
And I'm
but if
sorry, they
Jody's gonna
can't
make you
prescribe
do
you
that-
shit. Some of that shit's gone wrong on you, hun. And I think the marijuana has gone wrong at a certain point.
I have
So.
a woman who's telling me what I can and can't do with my own.
Yeah,
body.
and you don't just have a woman doing it, you have a judge doing it. So, and you have cops who show up here constantly, and you have a fucking Monarch Properties who are saying, we're tired of this crazy shit going on. And you have me who's saying, I'm tired of this crazy shit going on, babe. So, I love you. If you want to talk, you have a telephone, and so have I. So, I'm tired of being around a crazy nut who's being psycho and crazy and violent, like always. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, do I want to. And I might just do it. Actually, I won't do it. I told him this morning I am making the unilateral decision about my well-being to cut down on my meds because they're making me fat in my diet. And I'm cutting down on my diet too. But boy, oh boy, my husband has been doing very, very well, okay? And so today he decided that he's going to go to a psychiatrist, which is fine. I told him, you get a prescription from a psychiatrist and a real evaluation, then sure you can smoke marijuana. But they're going to have to know the truth about what's going on. And I told him all along that he has to get an MRI. And I've told the police with him sitting there, and he says, I don't remember that. And I'm like, of course you don't. You're missing part of your damn brain, dude. So he's in there being violent already. He's been doing so well, not acting like that shit, until he said, he went nutsy about it the other day. And I said, dude, you have to, you have to stay off that shit. And he said, well, my prescription. I'm like, you don't have a prescription. You do not have a prescription. And he had one for a while. It expired. And I don't go to the doctor and I don't go to the pharmacy and get medication. If I'm buying gabapentin off the streets, that does not make me legitimately taking my fucking medicine. That makes me a fucking addict. And for him to be screaming and yelling like that shit makes him one. So, and that's why I will not allow it. He wants me to give in and let him. He said he's moving out. I'm like, yeah, right. You can't even fucking do nothing, okay? Meaning, he doesn't have the money to do that. So he's been doing really, 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 really well. That's not to say our lives have been easy, but he's been doing really well. And then the other day, okay, here's what happened, dudes. I have super duper high cholesterol, I learned. I have 270 cholesterol. And my neighbor, who isn't an alcoholic and has high cholesterol herself, not like mine, said, try red wine. And I was like, oh yeah, red wine helps it a lot. Helps my heart a lot. And so Darren and I talked about it, and we agreed that I should buy a bottle of red wine and drink it when he's not around. But he went the first time with me to the liquor store to get a bottle, and this is my second. I'm finished with my second bottle. There's a little bit left, and I went the second time without him because, quite frankly, I don't want him being around a bunch of alcohol. It's triggering, and it's also triggering to bring it home. So I did bring it home and was naive, like always, underestimating the power of his addiction. And I brought it home. It helped my heart pain, my numbness in my left arm, which is pretty fucking scary, stopped. But he started getting triggery again. But he wasn't getting triggery over alcohol. He was getting triggery over marijuana. And I said, no. He and I are in a court case against each other for fucking domestic violence. And he's the one who's at stake for going to jail. And just bad shit, And so I've told him I'm not going to cooperate with him if you go get therapy, which he's getting, and you stay off all that shit, which he has been. And so fuck, dudes, he hasn't done this for quite a while. He's done it twice in the last month. And that's too many fucking times, man. Before, he was doing it every single day. That's when he was smoking all sorts of marijuana. And before that, drinking and smoking marijuana. Dudes, I'm pro marijuana. But I am not pro marijuana when marijuana gets to the point where it's killing people and or making their mental illness worse. So when the cops have come and not done anything to Darren when he was drunk, and I've said, and violent, but I didn't tell him he was being violent to anyone but himself, and so they did nothing. It's like, dude, you put me in a fucking cracker box full of furniture with a person who's being violent to themselves and see if they're being violent to you. I mean, it's violence. It doesn't matter if they're being violent to themselves on the other side of this field. If you love them, it's direct violence on you. But then he got violent with me in front of a bunch of people and destroyed some more of my property. I call it my property if he's going to damn be destroying it. And he hasn't replaced it. So that's bad. And let's hope to goodness he's not doing that at home right now. But I got to tell you, this guy is missing part of his brain, and he doesn't know how that's affecting him. And he doesn't know. See, I got off of the marijuana at Christmas. It's now almost October. So that's not a long time, but it's long enough to have your head cleared a little bit. And So anyway, bringing this alcohol into the house, and I'm not an alcoholic, dudes. I mean, you may not believe it watching our clips, but I'm not an alcoholic, but I have other addictions, and those are the addictions that I get treated for, okay? And they're not substance addictions, by the way. And Darren always says, well, you're addicted to your prescription meds. And I'm like, well, I've asked my psychiatrist right in front of Darren, because Darren will go in with me, or, you know, lately it's a Zoom meeting, and I ask her regularly, okay? And I'll ask my new one because my other wonderful one left. But I ask, I've asked him, like, I asked her, the first one, repeatedly, because I don't want to get addicted to pills. I don't take those opioids because I will get addicted to them. You know, I will. It's a fact. And so I told him, I didn't tell him, I just quit taking those, and told him this time, give me nothing that's addictive from the beginning. When I was in jail, they gave me, they prescribed my meds for the first time in how long ever since it was when they prescribed those opioids when I was in the hospital. And that's not fucking good. You know, it's like, no, don't give opioids to addicts. I am an addict. I'm just not addicted to alcohol. Although, yeah, I could be. I mean, that's the point with people who are addicts. They can become addicted to pills. And I've told Darren, I don't need to be addicted to pills. Do not allow it. If you see me doing that, then you need to intervene. He's never intervened. But whenever I say he can't be on marijuana because he's too violent when he's on it, and I have video of it, dudes, then oh God, dudes. But when I say no to him having marijuana, he'll say I'm an addict to these pills. And I'm like, I sure hope not, because they've said many, many times they're not addictive. But we all know that you can get addicted to them one way or another. But I have been meeting with my psychiatrist once a week for going on 2 months. And she monitors what I take. And I tell them what I take. 2 different ones, but one left. And she was replaced with a new lady, so God, I'm fucking tired. So, him going crazy like that shit, screaming at the top of his lungs like he was before I turned on the camera, is one of the reasons. The other reason is my stuff being hoarded in the house. That's what they call it, hoarding. Those 2 reasons are actually, it's actually not the stuff being hoarded in the house. It's the stuff being stacked outside for these charitable organizations to come and pick it up. So we're not even able to do that. So, but they're still coming to pick it up if I can arrange it, which I've been trying to do. But anyway, I love marijuana, okay? I love marijuana. I love smoking marijuana 20 times a day. That is an addiction. That is one of my addictions. That is a substance. Sorry about that. I forgot that one. But, I am addicted to marijuana. And that's why I looked in the mirror one day and I was turning green. No, I wasn't turning green. I was green, okay? A dark green, like the color of a little bit darker. Well, maybe like that. That color. And that wasn't just one day. And then I was like, oh, it's not, there's nothing wrong with me. Yeah, I'm probably cutting off I looked up. I said, what, you know, online, you know, why would a person turn green or ashen? And it said, because you don't have enough oxygen. And I was like, what would cause that? Maybe smoke on your heart? And I'm like, no, marijuana's fine. Yeah, it puts smoke on your heart, but I'm fine, you know. Give me some more marijuana and I'd smoke it. And then not only was my head not clear, and it was filled up with layers and layers and layers of THC and rosin and anything else from it. And blood wasn't, you know, oxygen wasn't getting to my body the way, and my heart and my brain the way it needed to be. And, you know, I was going to therapy and I was like, I want to get off this marijuana. And the lady's like, if you think that's a good idea, that's a good idea. And I'm like, yeah, it's a good idea. So I'd get off and that would last you know, like a week or something. And then somebody would bring over some marijuana. And then I'd be smoking it again. And then I'd keep smoking it. Because it wasn't just, you know, give me a puff and I'm happy. Give me 20 puffs and then give me 20 more and then more after that, because I've been off and I want to get back on. And so then my therapist asked, you know, how's it going? And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing all right. And then I started having, you know, this issues with violence in our home, and these people trying to evict us, not having an automobile, and my health just kept looking and feeling wrong, you know. And I would be like, I'm trying to wrestle Darren, and I don't have a clear head, so I can't even argue my side with him, and even try to reason with them, and try to, you know, boy, oh boy, hope he's calmed down, because I've been trying hard to protect our stuff, but it's in upheaval as we're moving it around in our house, getting things situated the right way. So I hope he doesn't do like the last time and get nutsy-er than he has been and start destroying our stuff, because it's really, really important stuff, dudes. I am so sad, you guys, because, you know, when Darren does well, the addictive part of him will come out and say, you know, that's not the real me, the part that does well and gets along, and he'll say, that's the fake me, that's me faking my life, and the real me wants marijuana. And then, of course, after he's on the marijuana, he'll want alcohol. And he may skip to just drinking the alcohol, which there's only a thimbleful, so I'm not too worried about that. But he does have marijuana somewhere. And he said, you know, you guys probably heard him say, I will smoke marijuana. And I said, well, you go ahead. And I've got to tell you guys, if he does, I have to call the DA's office and cooperate with them, because this guy has to be changing, dudes. And it's far past time. And what I said is that he can smoke marijuana if the psychiatrist prescribes it. And I said that the other day, but I've said consistently over and over and over that he needs a neurological test, which is the same thing as a brain scan, because he's missing part of his damn brain. And now he's mad because I told him that again today. And I've told him that in front of the cops. I've told him that when they pressed these charges last time, I said he needs to go get a brain scan and be prescribed medication, and but under close watch of a psychiatrist. And I also said he has to have therapy, which he is getting now. But you know, I've said, you know, the reason why it's not okay for you to have this stuff. By the way, I ended up getting off of it. I kept trying and failing until I finally woke up around Christmas. I think it was 2 days before Christmas. And I woke up and I said, I'm done with marijuana. Now, does that mean I'll never smoke it again? I'm not promising that, but I am not interested in it, you know. And people around me smoke all the time. It's everywhere where we live. We're in our whole neighborhood. I just smelled some walking over here. And I mostly walked in a fucking field. So, you know, it's very, very common nowadays. And I don't have a problem if other people smoke marijuana, or even if Darren does, if he's calm, but he's not calm. And he will smoke marijuana and get violent and then say he's calm when he smokes marijuana. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not calm when you smoke it. You're not calm when you're getting off of it. You're not calm, you know? And he's probably not calm when he's off of it either. And that has to do with, I mean, it's worse when he's on these substances, I gotta say. I mean, if I could drug up my husband and he would calm down, don't you fucking think I would do it? Of course I would. I mean, you know, if it wasn't gonna kill him, wasn't gonna harm him, if he was calm and cool and easy to live with, you know, of course I would. But that's not how it works. He gets worse. He gets more violent. And so therefore I'm like, no, you can't be doing that anymore. You got to stop it. And so then when he brings it up, because all of the people we know smoke it, and I say, no, you agreed not to do that when you came back in the house. So the answer's no. Then he gets really violent about it, and I'm like, man, that sounds like an addiction to me, you know. And it's worse maybe with him because of this brain thing. At least it comes out with this violence thing. And he's like saying, that's not a big deal. He didn't say it like that. He was really agitated and screaming when he said it. And I said, babe, close the door and calm down. The authorities are coming around our property lately, you know. They're being very, very oppressive to our property. And part of the reason that they're wanting to evict me and Darren or threatening to, they haven't actually slapped us with anything legal, but they've verbally threatened it, is because of Darren's. They said the issues between me and Darren, which is to say, Darren getting fucking crazy and loud and nutsy and violent. And then me, occasionally, not always, in fact, I'm trying to break that pattern again and say, get out while you can before it gets cold. And just step out and stay calm and get out. And it's that they're saying is the reason to evict us. Well, that's a disability straight up. And it's also an addiction. And it also needs to stop. Whatever the fuck you call it. And I said, close the door, calm down. So he was screaming with the door open, then he closed the door and screamed even louder. And I'm like, dude, you gotta calm the fuck down. If marijuana is really no big deal, then you can calm the fuck down and get all the marijuana you want. But he can't, because it isn't healthy for him. And, you know, that's not to say it's not healthy for you. I mean, if you're underage, it's probably really something you should steer clear of. Because look how it escalates, dudes. So, anyway, you know, I have to be always on the ready to make phone calls to report Darren's violence. And I don't care if it's violence toward himself or toward me. I mean, I do care either way. And there is a difference. But it's all violence, and it's all domestic violence at this point, because the pattern needs to stop. Now he's saying, I'm going to move out, I'm going to move out. And I'm like, okay, move out. And maybe he will, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm so sad, you know, that I lost Darren, his presence in my life, to these addictions. Now he'd rather have marijuana than live with me. And he says, oh, it's because you control everything I do. Well, maybe so. You know, really, maybe so. I think I have to control a 2-year-old. I control a person who's acting like a fucking 2-year-old if I care about them. If I don't care about them, I run away from them and stay away from them. And the only way that I can have Darren in my life at all is for him to be alive, is for him to stop this shit. And you guys, I have a mental illness that if he tried to leave, I would be fucking freaking and maybe trying to kill myself. And there's no joke about that. So that shit's for real, but it's not helped by somebody going nutsy and being so unstable and making my life so unstable. You know, it's fucked up. You know, but I've been practicing walking without my cane, so, and you guys didn't witness any of it. I didn't even think to turn on the video, but then I'm like, you better turn on the video, this guy's going crazy, and then he stopped. So I'm not saying he knew. He didn't know when I turned on the phone, but he stopped. So, and I said, and if I say, hey, get a brain scan, and he really thinks that this is his medication and not an addiction, then he would say, okay, I'll get a brain scan. I need this medication. I don't want to harm myself. I don't want to be an addict.